Welcome, Hamad. My pleasure to have you here on our Leader Series Master AI Disruption. Please welcome Hamad Amir from SJM Cares, a family insurance brokerage firm out of New York, right? And Hamad came to the United States at age 4 from Central Asia and now works in the family business. So tell us more about your story of origin. It's my great pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me, Francis. It's great to be here. Sure, yeah, we can dive in. In terms of an origin story, I've jumped around from a lot of places. I used to work with kids at one point, teaching around in schools. I used to work in marketing. And eventually, I found myself in the insurance business, helping people with their health and life insurance policies.
Okay, all right. And that's a family business. That's a business that your father created, right?
Yes, it's a family business. My father started the business, and then I joined in a few years later.
Yeah, so it was like about 10 years ago that he
Yeah,
created it, yes. And you joined about 2 years ago or 2 years after?
I was about 2 years ago, a year and a half.
Okay, so you've been in it. Okay, that's it. Okay. And what was the core vision and how has that evolved? What was the core vision of your father at first and how has that evolved up to what it is today?
Right. With the core vision, it was he worked as an agent at different companies and he wanted to start his own business. So he pursued that route. And where I was in my life, I was looking at, what is the best future route for me? At
Mhm.
that point, you can either work a 9 to 5 job, spend all day working your job, go at the end of the day, and then you watch some TV, you go to sleep, and then you repeat. The reason I like the insurance business is that you can build residual income and you can build actual connections with people. I was working remote mainly from my computer, and I wanted to have some work in my life where I worked with people and I could help them. And insurance is a complex industry. They make it hard for a reason. So
Mhm.
people need somebody to help them explain what's going on and what they actually need. So I felt like insurance would be an industry where I could find purpose as well as build long-term sustainable income and building a client base.
Mm, mhm. Wonderful. So you offer health, Medicare, and various life insurance, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So tell me what makes SGM Cares stand out in that crowded city of Brooklyn, New York.
So I would say cares. We care. I wrote a book on mental health called Harness Happiness, where I go over my journey through anxiety and depression. And I share actionable exercises, mindfulness exercises, gratitude prompts, and even just free drawing spaces in the book to help people with their own depression and anxiety. And the reason I believe that business has been successful so far is because the people can feel our care. When I go, there are a few clients who are older, especially with Medicare. Somebody might be 70 or 80 or 90, or they might have another medical condition that prevents them from leaving their home. And I will take time at the end of my day at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock to go travel to that person's home and make sure I explain their insurance to them, if they need changes, if they don't need changes, and work with them. So doing those home visits and really working with people, that's builds a long-term relationship, and that's why the people want to come to us. We actually care.
Hmm. And that impacts their lives, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So it's really a holistic approach to policy making. Good. Um, Tell me about the company today. What's been your biggest growth lever,
Mhm.
or success story in the last year or two that we will be able to share now?
Yeah, so when I came onto the business, my main focus was building out the digital footprint, getting our website live, creating blogs, getting onto Google Maps, and getting reviews on Google Maps. So that's definitely been one of the ways we started getting some more clients, getting more phone calls in, walk-ins, and overall just building a strong digital presence. Previously, there was no digital presence. So that has been a really strong goal of mine since coming on. Um, and that has been a major growth lever driving walk-ins in.
Okay, wonderful. So you have a physical space.
Yes, we have a physical space. It's in a location of Brooklyn that is a strong immigrant population and overall just a mix of different cultures, whether that's Ukrainian, Russian, Spanish, Black, Asian, everyone is coming through our doors. So sometimes I even have to use a translator to just like communicate and talk. But I know a little bit of Spanish, so I can work my way around.
Wonderful, wonderful. So now let's look on the other side. Every business faces hurdles. So what would you say is the biggest challenge today that SJM Cares is currently navigating to reach its next level?
hmm One is, well, leads. Leads are everything in our business, in the insurance business. Leads is like you can't have a restaurant without buying ingredients, you know? You need leads and new contacts. Right now, we have a strong local presence in Brooklyn, but
Mm,
for the business to expand to its next level, we would have to go to various other states and other cities and expanding our national presence. And
mm,
that would be the next level that I would look to take it.
mhm. So, all right. So, and how are you going to reach those markets? How are you going to overcome the fact that it's beyond your physical boundaries?
Right. So something I've been looking at recently is voice assistants like Vappy which are AI voice assistants that can make calls for you. That would be a approach I could take towards reaching out to business owners on group benefit plans for group health plans and group life plans, and overall just going over benefits as a free consultation for business owners.
Hmm.
So I'm looking set up an AI voice system that can help book some consultation calls on my calendar for me and expand through there.
Hmm. Okay. So I guess that's what you believe to be the single most critical opportunity or strategy for you, like lead generation, digital lead generation.
Yeah, I would say, especially right now where we are at in the world, and if we break down just cost and return ROIs, ads, you can run ads, but you have to do a lot of competitor research and really figure out what ad copies are going to convert. Otherwise, you're just going to waste your money on ads, which I've done before. I know that from experience. And
Not we all. Yes.
right, right. And then, especially now with new technology developing, I believe it's essential to use the technology and adapt with the current times to help yourself because it's not going away. Even if some people don't like AI or have their own opinions about AI, the technology is here. We either have to adapt and use it to our advantage or it will be used against us.
For sure.
That's those are the only two options. So definitely being able to leverage new systems and take over a digital lead approach, I think would
Mhm.
be necessary for just how our world is moving over the next few years.
So if you had unlimited resources, where would you invest to achieve that next level at your company?
Who, if I had unlimited resources, definitely right now my SEO plan has been a bit more manual. So
Mhm.
I would like to either hire somebody or set up some AI SEO assistants to take care of some work on that end, as well as I mentioned, doing AI lead gen through Vappy and other means. And
Mhm.
then the final pillar would just be some little ads that actually convert.
As you said, yes. Okay, sure, sure. So, all right. So the insurance landscape is always changing, right? So what's one trend that you've identified as exciting for your business? One piece of advice that you'd give to other family business in this space.
One trend that I've seen is exciting, and one piece of advice. Good questions, Francis. Good questions.
Okay, thank you.
Can I share a trend that's not necessarily exciting?
Sure. Share whatever you want.
So I wouldn't necessarily call this exciting or, different people have different opinions of it. But currently, our current trend is an increase in regulations, an increase in how often somebody has to submit for a Medicaid renewal. It used to be once a year. Now they're asking towards twice a year. An increase on just overall limitations on how we can work. It's already heavily regulated, but now we're coming to a situation where those regulations are increasing and people are being offered less benefits.
Mm,
So for example, it used to be for people on Medicare, if they had an OTC card, that they could just get groceries. But
sure.
now to get groceries, they have to get their doctor to fill out a form saying they have some type of chronic condition. So there's a lot of these extra layers being created to which makes it more difficult to get people these services.
Mm,
And so, a piece of advice I have for other insurance agents and brokers is
mhm,
when you're dealing with these clients, always make sure you have those extra backups with you. So if you're giving somebody an OTC card, have the form that they need to give to their doctor with them. Always make sure you have those extra materials with you. So that way, if those questions come up or they ask, what is this process? You are prepared. And so I
mhm.
think the best piece of advice I can say is always just have backups, have those extra forms, be prepared for questions.
And how is this heaviness in procedures and regulations and changes, how is it, how can you turn this, or how have you turned it into a competitive advantage?
Well, my current competitive advantage and the competitive advantage for all brokers really is to be personal and actually reach out to clients consistently.
Hmm.
So even if it's something as simple as tracking everybody's birthday and setting up a messaging system and
Hmm.
either an email or SMS or even a phone call system that will send them a message on their birthday.
Hmm.
When people feel like you're staying on in touch with them, you're caring about them, then they'll only want to do business with you. They'll always come back to you. And like yeah, for the broker, if there's problems, they're going to come to you. They're coming to you with problems. We
Hmm.
are the solution expert.
Yeah.
So when you show people that extra care, they're always going to be coming to you with those problems. And if you
Hmm.
help them effectively solve it, then you have a client for life.
Okay, so you're answering a question of mine already. What is the churning of this, caring approach? Do you have a strong retention from the past 10 years of your father's activities?
Yeah, I would say I definitely do have a strong retention. I've had, you know, in this last AEP season, you could say I did about 60, 70 applications over the course of 3 months.
Hmm.
And from those, a majority of them kept, I would say maybe 3% churned out. But even with that 3%, it was hop on a phone call, see what happens, see if they wanted to switch to a different company and move from there. So I would say churn is relatively low.
Good. Congratulations. That's not easy to achieve.
Thank you.
Anything else that you'd like to say about your business so that people understand better your approach in Brooklyn and beyond, because you want to expand beyond Brooklyn. So what is the mantra? What is the secret sauce? What is the, memorable message that you would like to leave behind?
Yeah. So I feel like I've been saying this, but everybody has their own opinions and how their own viewpoints and everything. So this is just my personal viewpoint. And it's that whatever you do, don't look for the money, look for the people, look for the solutions, look to help. In my free time, I work with mutual aid communities to give out food or give out clothing. If you focus on putting yourself in communities where maybe you go to a homeless shelter and you ask around if anybody at the shelter needs help with setting up their insurance,
Hmm.
that's an
Hmm.
easy client. And
Hmm.
as a brokers, we get paid by the company. You don't get paid by that person. So
Sure,
that's
sure.
somebody you can help. The goal shouldn't be, how can I make the most money? It's how can I help the most people?
Hmm.
So go to the places where the people have problems, where they're already there with problems, and go and help them. And you help somebody in that situation, they're gonna want to talk to you. They're gonna want to respect you and be with you long term. And that's how you build a strong long term client base.
So value over money, right?
Value over money. Thank you for
Yeah.
summarizing that perfectly.
Okay. Or money through value. Okay. One question for you, one last personal question for you. So you came here at 4. You have this, Central Asian culture. I mean, first, before one validation. So this culture is alive at home when it comes to food, ritual, ceremonies, yes?
Yes, the culture is still alive.
Okay, and you hear the language of the native language of your parents at the dinner table? Do you speak it?
Yes, I do speak it. Not the best, but I do speak it.
Okay, okay, you understand. Okay, so you bathe in this. So one question, the choice that your father made as an entrepreneur to go for a caring approach, is it something that's bound to your culture of origin, you would say? Because, Central Asia is known for welcoming, table, we start talking before we do any business, and, it's very engaging, it's very warm, it's very inclusive. So tell us if you see
Funnily,
the link.
funnily enough, I would say no.
Okay,
I would
okay,
say, uh, my mom is a bit more like, yo, just make your money. Stop caring about people. Like my
okay.
mom, she's very like, why you care so much, you know? But I would say it's actually a bit more of my American culture and American side
Mm,
that tends to be a bit more caring. You know, when in school, I heard every morning liberty and justice for all. I had to say the
mm,
Pledge of Allegiance, liberty and justice for all. So
mm,
now I have a strong belief of that value of providing that for
mm,
others. And I
mm,
would say it's actually a bit more of my American side that leads me to caring. And
mm,
my Asian side that leads me to community. So
mm,
American is not just enough to care, but what are you caring about? Where are you going to put your care and your effort? And
mhm.
my Asian side is really focused on this is my community. This is where I live. These are the people around me. These are the
Mm,
people I need to care about.
mm. And you would say your community is locally driven, like meaning whoever is around in Brooklyn, so many nationalities, or is it your community of origin, meaning Central Asia?
Definitely in terms of client base, definitely have more Central Asian clients just because it's easier to speak to them. They own some of them might be older and only speak Urdu, which is the language of Pakistan. But overall, I do have a mix of clients from all races. That's
Mm.
just me as growing up in Brooklyn and talking and meeting with everybody.
So what I'm hearing is your culture of adoption at a very young age, that has led you to this very empathetic approach, which is true. America is very empathetic, and then it's geared towards community because you feel that's where the seeds could be planted and give trees, beautiful flowers. So what about your father? Because he started 10 years ago, and he came with more of his culture, than you did, culture of origin. So do you think that the caring approach came from that bloodline, or it came through that adoption of the American flag?
I think the my father definitely has a caring approach. He's overall a very good man, a better man than me. I'll say it. He's has very strong values and very strong ethics
Mm,
about not wanting to hurt others unless they hurt you first. And
mhm,
you know, he's still strong, but he has very strong ethics about always doing the right thing, not breaking the law, following the rules. And those ethics definitely played a role into my own values and ethics. I did slightly change as I became more Americanized than exactly what his ethics would say. But overall, I think I was able to find a nice combination of both.
Wonderful. Good. Well, you know what? Businesses are passed on from one generation to the other, and they evolve with the personalities of the founders and the followers of the founders. So it's
Yes.
beautiful to see, and I hope we'll meet again here in a year or so, to see the progress and the application of everything that you've discussed when it came to technology, lead generation, out of state, outreach. So thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you here. Until next time.
Thanks for having me, Francis. If you're ever in New York, you send me a message. If I'm in California, I'm sending you a message and we're getting some dinner.
We will, we will. Okay, wonderful. And here ends our podcast. Thank you.
Thank you.